Hi there, good morning.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Yeah. Just one sec. So, okay, meeting has been kept on the recording. What we are going to be doing is the exact same thing that we started off with your batch. First particular thing would be single core, dual core, and two tasks running on two separate cores. All right. So right from how ESP IDF works, okay, to what would you find in the examples, and then how would you start off with the first particular example of LED blink and hello world. Okay, on two separate cores first, and then on individual cores.
Got it. Got it.
Sounds good. We will end it with how to create components and how ESP IDF can modularize for a developer.
Okay. Yeah. Got it.
Okay. Perfect. So these guys will ask you whatever questions they have on pertinent topics. All right. And then we will figure out how each particular system is going to be integrated together to actually create the repository that we have built over the past one. All right. So we will just give them a snapshot of how a repository is built, what kind of components it would have, and how does the entire code repo looks like when you build an end-to-end product.
Okay. Got it.
Correct?
So yeah. Yeah. So I will just share my screen.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. My screen is visible,
So
right?
just give one more thing. Make things as simple as possible. Wait and ask wherever you think you would have a problem. So the same problem would definitely be a problem for them also. All right. So let them ask, and at the same time, you wait, pause, and ask. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make sure that you're ready. All right. Over to you.
Okay. So just for the example's sake, the final end product after our last semester looked something like this. This is my repository for all the tasks that I had done for ESRTOS. It is very simple, and we will today hopefully in the end we will be able to create something like this with all our components. So let us start with all the basics of how we are going to get started with ESP IDF as such. Uh, I've created a folder just for our sake called ESP session. So we will be doing everything that we have over here. All right. So the first and foremost thing for creating any coding for coding is you have to know how to create a project. Correct. You are not just gonna create some scripts. Scripts are not for final product. Scripts are there just for testing purposes or just to do something. But for final product, you do need something that you can share, something you can understand, something others can understand, something that is easily deployable. Correct. So that's the reason we create projects. All right. So starting with projects. First of all, if you have downloaded ESP IDF using VS Code, just open VS Code and you will be able to open a terminal. But if you have not, if you have downloaded ESP IDF normally, what you can do is you can just search for ESP. So it will give you a command shell option. Please, can you just try that?
Dave, at the same time, can you, yeah, so once you show them this particular thing, also show them by VS Code, how can you install ESP IDF? So just the process.
Okay. I don't have VS Code on this. Yeah. So for VS Code, it's fairly simple. I will show it to you, but for my case, the ESP IDF already is installed, so it will be a bit quicker. But if you are installing it right now, it may take some time. So it's fine, all right, because the whole package is of what 1 GB. It's going to take a lot of time. So yeah.
ESP is installed for every command for control. Yes.
Yeah, so this is the plugin that we are looking for.
Okay, so he's on a video mode, and in that case, basically, just search for ESP space. Okay.
In my case, I'd already installed it, so VS Code is just install it again for me. Okay. Now I will tell you what advantages you will have once you have this installed. Life will be a little bit simple for you as you are learning, but after you are done learning, it might not be that helpful. I will show you just why. Okay, I will just open our project. So once you have installed it, you will have it will give you this particular sideline, if you can see that, and it will also give you some options down over here. Can you see these options? Um,
Then what have you installed? 5 points. What version have you installed?
no. Please, everyone, please install LTS version 4.4.4. Don't start with 5.0. It is the latest version, but it has a lot of breaking changes. If you have installed 5.0, it's fine. You might face some problems with regarding the macros, but other than that, you might be fine since we are not diving deep into anything. 5.0 is fine. Don't worry about it. So here is what things look like if you see. So that is your you can select your compute over here. It will allow you to select your ESP32 device. Now ESP32 is what you guys have at college. That is just one. There is ESP32 S2. There's S3. Okay, there are different versions that SPSF has for their chips. Okay, so it is really important to know which chip we are using, and it is also possible that some of your programs might work on one chip and won't work on another. There are a lot of things that are changed, and whenever you are working, just make sure that the target is set to ESP32, which you guys have right now. All right.
Dave, you need to be a bit slow because sometimes because of bandwidth issues, possibly there's a little bit of unclear verbose.
Okay, no problem. So we just select this as ESP32. All right. Just a minute. Yeah. This particular thing will allow you to select your current project. So it is just a current project. So you can choose any project that you want. I have different projects over here. SD configuration tool. Now this particular tool. Do you guys know how you define constants? Like in any programming language, you just don't find the value of constant. There is always a definition for that constant. If you talk about C, which we will be using right now, it is hash define. You use hash define to define those constants. Do you guys know that? Like what hash define is? Okay, so
Yes,
it's
अगर नो है तो बोलो so he'll explain that. But it will लोग इधर बैठे मत रहो. So they always assume that there is zero knowledge and always do a knowledge transfer on the basis of that.
Yeah. So basically, whenever you're looking at hash, okay, whenever you look hash in C, always understand that it is meant for compile time. Okay, what is compile time and what is runtime? Compile time is when compiler is actually understanding and linking and doing all the process. वो background magic जो रहता है, whatever it is doing, that is on compile time. और तभी ये hash values काम आती है. The hash that you see are always on the compile time. Okay. They are being stored at some place. They are being packed together in the bin file. So it is always compile time. There are a lot of different ways of these hashes. There is hash define. So there is if and def. So if this then this. So there are lots of hash which can be used in your program to clear things out for you in compile time itself. So runtime में तुमको problem ना है. Okay, because runtime में things become really tricky to manage. All right. So many config में you can set a lot of values that ESP तुम्हारा chip requires. Okay, there are a lot of important things. There are chip numbers that you can set, GPIOs वो सब set कर सकते हो. Hello, yeah. Any questions?
No. So
Yeah. So
just give an example of nano config. So on the current projects that we were changing GPIOs, right, for testing and all.
yeah.
Can you just show particularly what you mean by nano config with one particular example?
Okay, yeah. I will just open our latest project. Okay, I'm not gonna open it in VS Code over here. I will open it in our terminal itself, so we guys don't have to worry about it. Okay, so this is the current project that we are working on. Okay, so this is how it looks like. I know it looks a lot scary, but if you have worked with your Windows laptop, you have crashed something in your Windows laptop, you have seen something similar in your Windows settings. So this is what it looks like. What we want right now over here is simple things. So there are something called as component configs. So this is all what ESP allows you to have. Okay, these are all the components that it has. Okay, and all these components have certain important aspects. Okay, so let's check OTA, over the air updates. Okay, so right now it is saying there's an option where you can allow HTTP for over the air updates. Okay, this becomes very important when we are dealing with MQTT. Okay, because most of the times while testing you don't use MQTT-S, you just use MQTT. So once you click this, so if you see it says only for testing purposes. Okay, why is that? Just because that HTTP is not secure. Okay, always use HTTPS. So this is something that it allows you to set. There are such many configurations that it allows you to set. All right. So this is the whole point of that component config, that you can set various values.
Yeah, just one more thing. Yesterday we checked on ping with the ESP32 specific, right? And we realized that clocking frequency was different, right? It was 160 and 240, and how it impacts your ping delay time, right? Can you show those also things so that we know okay, where that particular thing is and how it will affect your ping settings and all of those?
Yeah, sure.
It's, I think, ESP32S3 specific, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So there is something called as frequency of the CPU. So all you guys have PCs, right? All of you have PCs. It might be Intel, it might be Ryzen. So there are two things that you see when you're talking with your PC. The PC, there is something called as base frequency, right? There's a base frequency that you have in your PC, correct? And there is the highest frequency. There's the highest frequency that the PC can go into. Something similar is happening over here. If you see, it allows us to have three separate frequencies for your CPU. Okay, one is just 80 megahertz, one is 160, and another is 240. Okay, all these three things become really important once your project becomes really heavy. So once your project has a lot of tasks that it has to continuously do, this particular frequency becomes very heavy because it needs to respond in time to your requests. Okay, any kind of request that there might be. For example, yesterday we were testing with Ethernet. So you guys know Ethernet, right? Like you will have in labs. Okay. So we were testing up simple ping. So pinging from a PC to another device. Okay. On the same network. Now we found out that just because the frequency of our device was set at 160, the change in the response was 4 or 5. Yeah, 4 or 5 ms. Yeah, but once you set it to 240, it went low as 2 and 1. Okay. So it became really fast. Okay. So what is this magic? So most of the times, depending on your application, so if you are setting it somewhere remote, let's say you are not here, you are setting it in the desert in the Rajasthan. Okay. Then doing something like this is going to cost you a lot of power. Okay. With power comes power consumption. As simple as that. So if you are there,
I think, Dev, just one second. Let me interrupt you.
yeah,
You have overclocking of your CPU, right? So what exactly will that do? It will basically heat up your power supply, right? Which means power consumption is basically increasing, right? So these are modes that are given. The entire objective of this particular system is it's going to be an embedded system, right? So you have to give the user or the developer the choice to, do you want, okay, are you on a steady power supply? Go ahead and clock it at 240, right? But if not, right, then you're okay with the fact that this particular thing, as you just mentioned, is in Rajasthan, and it just wants to monitor temperature, humidity, right? So fast speed कुछ चाहिए क्या अपने को? नहीं चाहिए, right? So we can set a lower value of the ESP32 clocking, right? So it's as simple as that. The more the clocking you're going to do, the more the power consumption, and which means that basically you require higher heat dissipation capability as well as a steady power. Yeah, yeah, they continue, please.
yeah, and there is a reason that it is just 80 is the minimum, because if you go below that, the device may not work. Okay, there is a reason that it is not 10. Okay, so all these specifications are there on the ESP SPSS own website. All right. So we are done with menu config. Next is build. So this is building the project. Okay, you need to know what we will come to building the project. Okay, let's not go there this fast. Flash method, flashing the device, will go there. Monitor, yeah, we will go there again. Okay, so for right now, you just have to open ESP IDF terminal if you are using VS Code. Okay, there is this option. One more thing, there is this option called full clean. This will be your most handy option. Okay, anything goes wrong, you are not able to compile, you first full clean it. Okay, what does it do? It removes any build files that it has created regarding the project, and it gives you a fresh start. It is really important when you are changing certain aspects of your code which are not really handled by your compiler, so it throws a lot of compile time errors. Okay, so whenever you are facing, always try कि full clean से तुम्हारा problem solve होता है क्या. ओके, मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स फुल क्लीन से प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाता है. जब नहीं होता मतलब वो तुम्हारी मिस्टेक है while coding. Okay, so this is
also parallelly with VS Code, ESP IDF command prompts may be show them the same thing, so that they are handy with both the particular ways.
Yeah, now I'm going to completely move over to our command prompt now, because that's where you will have most amount of freedom. Okay, and that freedom is really important when you are dealing with very big projects. Okay, right now VS Code looks fine, but once you go ahead, these command line is your best friend. All right, and it's not that hard. So right now we are just going to create a simple project. Okay, we will create this a simple project. As I mentioned, project scalability के लिए बहुत important होता है. So it's idf.py create project. So let's call it hello world. All right. So what does it do? It creates a project called hello world. Okay. this is my project. I will just open that project for you. Okay. So this is a project that it has created for me. If you see over here, there's two things that you will observe. There are two things that you will observe. There's something weird called a CMake list. And instead of creating a simple file, it has created a folder called main and इसके अंदर उसने और एक file बनाया. Can you guys see? Yeah. Very bad practice to name it as hello world and .c. Okay. Let us change it to something that is a good one. That is main. Okay. We have to change. So this is what it is. If you see over here, the name of our file is now main.c. Why do we not keep it hello world.c? Because this is start of the project. कल जाके तुम यही फाइल पे hello world ही नहीं लिखने वाले हो. तुम्हारे 10 नए कंपोनेंट आने वाले हैं. Okay? So we need to सबको एक साथ कहीं पे लाना होगा. That is your main file. Okay? So that's the reason always keep it as main.c rather than anything else. That's a good practice to do that. Okay? So let us understand CMake list. Okay? Do you guys know about build systems? Or why? What are build systems? Why are they important? Where do you use them?
No.
Okay. आसान भाषा में build systems तुम्हारे कोड को रहता है, उसको क्लब करता है और एक बाइनरी प्रोडक्ट प्रोड्यूस करता है. In our case, usually you can ask it to create a library for you. You can ask it to do something else for you. So just to take your mind off this, just to make sure you understand it, I will just I will just show you how it looks like in another project. Okay, so you understand that CMake list that you are doing is not same everywhere. All right. So if you see over here, I have a CMake list file for my project. If you see, it is completely different than what you have seen. Why? Because this is meant to create a library, not a project. Okay. So for different things, your CMake files will be different. Okay, and they will have different meanings. Okay. Hopping back to our project, if you see for ESP IDF, it's very beautiful. It's very easy for you. There is something called as include. Can you guys see this? Include. Yeah. So basically, let's get back to where we were. I will show you exactly what is happening over here. So if I go into my installation of ESP, okay, यहाँ पे वो कुछ it is trying to access, right? That is what we saw. What it's actually doing is there is a folder called components. Okay, यहाँ पे ESP is very helpful. They have given you all they have at their hand for you to just fetch, put it in your code, and make it magically work. Okay, you don't have to worry about any low level thing. Okay, technically you are still high level on that low level. Okay, क्योंकि बाकी का जो भी important dealing है with their device, they have already helped you out by creating components. These components have API calls that you can use. Okay, API calls रहते हैं which you can use at your own will. Okay, so this is what it is fetching over here. It is saying कि ये प्रोजेक्ट बना रहा हूं मैं और इसमें मैं ना ये जो फोल्डर है ना उसमें से कौन सा भी अगर यूज करूंगा ना तो allow me to use it. Don't give me errors कि you can't find it because I've given you a location of where to find what I need. Okay, so this is the whole point of including that environment कि कल जाके तुम अगर API यूज कर रहे हो तो it shouldn't show up as an error कि इसको पता नहीं कि वो क्या कर रहा है. Okay, there is other things that we will come forward to CMake list in our components, but right now this is all you need to know about the project ka CMake list. There is a CMake list inside your main folder. Okay, so why is that? Okay, so bahar wala jo CMake list tha wo project ke liye tha. As simple as that. ये पूरा project है उसके लिए वो CMake list था. Now we are getting inside a folder. You are being specific now. The folder के अंदर के जो files है उनका भी कुछ specification होगा. Correct? There must be something specific about them. Okay, you need to tell your compiler that also. अगर तुम कंपाइलर को बोलोगे नहीं कि ये फाइल एग्जिस्ट करता है तो वो थोड़ी कुछ उसको कंपाइल करने वाला है. You need to tell it, right, कि this file exists. So that is what we are doing over here. A very simple rule while working with ESP: everything is a component. The moment you create a new folder, it becomes a component. Are you understanding that? Everything is component. Everything is atomic. Everything is different from each other. Okay, we use it with each other, that's fine, but everything has the ability to compile by itself, okay, without needing help of other, okay, as long as you are not calling it. So they are all components. You need to include sources. What is sources? The source, what file it is, okay. So right now it is main.c, okay. Include dirs. So do you know, so basically there is something called as header files, okay. हेडर फाइल्स क्या करती है? सो जब तुम कोड लिखते हो, you don't want to, in simple language, you don't want to expose that whole code, all functions of that code to all other files, okay. If you are working with a company or another company, एक company कुछ और provide कर रहा है, दूसरा कुछ और provide कर रहा है, okay. तो that other company वो तुम्हें अपना code थोड़ी देगा, okay. What it instead does is gives you a library file, okay, and gives you a header file. It gives you that header file, so तुम वो header file से तुमको जो चाहिए वो तुम ले सकते हो. Header file से function के definition रहते हैं. We will come to that definitely. We will come to that कि वो क्या रहता है. But in simple language, header file has function के definition. That's it. The whole point of header file is to tell you when you are fetching it कि that particular function exists. That's it. आगे का उसको कुछ नहीं पता, बट व्हेन यू आर कंपाइलिंग योर फाइल और तुम उसको देखा गेट वैल्यू, सपोज दैट्स अ फंक्शन गेट वैल्यू, तुम्हारे कंपाइलर देखेगा कि हेडर फाइल में कहीं पे ये मेंशन्ड है क्या. अगर हेडर फाइल में मेंशन्ड है तो इट वोंट बॉदर, because once you mention it in header file, that means that particular function does exist in a C file somewhere, okay. तो कंपनी का जो भी फाइल रहेगा उसमें वो डेफिनेटली रहेगा. They will just give a header file for your API calls, okay. Okay, as simple as that. That's the reason this include dirs that include directory. This gives you a location for your header files. Okay, we have no header files right now because main, you are not calling main anywhere. Simple. We don't call main anywhere. Main ka whole point is to bring everything together. That's the reason there is no header file over here. Itna samjha? Are we clear till now?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So we are not gonna bother dealing with this main folder because it's not a good practice. We will jump to different components that we have right now. What we are gonna do today is what we did yesterday with all these guys. There are going to be two aspects. One is your LED, okay. One is your LED, and another is your hello world. Okay, these two are our goals. Okay, and we will be focusing on these two goals right now, and we will be doing it as precisely as we can. Okay, as good as an industry level project. Okay, so how does,
before we start again, so quickly again, main में क्या रहेगा, okay, CMake list में क्या रहेगा, just show them that, alright. They will quickly just copy that down कि hello world के main में क्या दिखेगा उनको, CMake list.txt में क्या रहेगा, main.c में क्या रहेगा, और बाहर के project के CMake list.txt में क्या रहेगा. Alright, so let them just copy that once. So go to first on the project so that they know what's going to happen when they start doing it.
So we will deal with all the C files once we start creating components. वहाँ पे सब एक साथ we'll be bringing it together, so that would be better.
Perfect. No, but just let them have a look first of all कि क्या उन लोगों को दिखने वाला है आगे.
Yeah. Also, one more thing that I did not mention, but it is also important. There is something called a CMake का minimum version. The CMake खुद एक kind of software है. Okay. You need to specify minimum version क्योंकि CMake के खुद, if can you see this include? Can you see this project? These are all calls. It is making some calls. Okay. Please understand that CMake खुद कुछ calls कर रहा है. These calls अगर मैं कल जाके है ना ये version को 2.0 लिख दूँ ना, so it won't satisfy some of the calls. Okay, you need to specify the minimum version it supports. Okay, ये बहुत important चीज है. ESP में तुम्हें कभी प्रॉब्लम नहीं आएगा क्योंकि ESP खुद तुम्हें अच्छे से बना के देता है, बट तुम कोई और प्रोजेक्ट कर रहे हो ना, तो this is very very important. I will show you मेरे उसमें ही. So if you see my minimum version right now is 3.9, correct? Can you see that? I've set it as 3.9. So there was a pull request made by a guy who told me कि मेरा जो minimum version है वो गलत है. Okay, so he fixed it for me. Okay, So I'd set it as 3.5, but वो 3.5 की वजह से I was not able to actually fetch important things जो मेरे project के लिए चाहिए था. I was not able to fetch those APIs, so I was doing it the old way. Okay, and that old way had some problems. Okay, so that particular minimum version required is very important when you go to big projects because it allows you to take control of APIs that are in use. So तुम लोग बोलोगे why not use the latest one? Okay, why not use the latest one? There is a reason that you specify the minimum version and not the maximum version. Okay, minimum version allows you to get everything from this version to all the above versions. Okay, it just restricts your API calls to below that 3.5 version. समझा? So that's the reason where we specify minimum version कि तू ये version ले, इसका सब call दे, but इसके ऊपर वाले का भी मुझे allow कर, सिर्फ इसके नीचे वाले का allow मत कर. Got it?
Dave, also, can you show them how to create? So once they go through these three particular subfolders, can you also re-show how to create a project? Just a quick on creating a new project so that they also know that.
Yeah, definitely. The next whole session will be about how to create a project and how to create components inside them. All right. Guys, also please write down the steps of creating a project and creating a component. If you are not able to remember them, please write them down because that's how you will start with any project. Any task or any project that you do will be started by doing that. All right. So this is for your main project, and I will show you Andar ka. Andar wala is very simple, but it gets really interesting once you dive into components. There are other aspects that suddenly come into play, and that's when you understand what magic is happening. Okay, you will understand the real purpose of this. You will understand the real purpose of why it is so beautiful. All right. Also, if you see this particular project.cmake now, it will be a big file. Okay, it will have all the API calls that it has. Okay, so that's the whole point of that project.cmake. It will have all the API calls. Okay, आसान भाषा में तुम लोग import करते हो ना फाइल्स को या कोई भी दो फाइल्स बना के import करते हो ना, सेम चीज ये भी वही कर रहा है. Okay.
Yeah, all right, we can go ahead.
Okay, brilliant. I will just close this, and for our purpose, I will just also delete ye wala folder, and we will start from scratch. Okay, we'll start now from scratch. Okay, good. So now let's open the terminal again. As much as you can, please use terminal. I would highly recommend that you don't go the VS Code way because it becomes you get habituated to it, and it is not a very good thing to do that because after you go on to do certain other things, it will be a pain. It will be a real pain. Okay. Trust me when I say this. My colleague uses it, and it causes a lot of problems when we are trying to compare what went wrong. So if it is possible for you, just use command line for everything that you do. Okay, because that particular thing, it runs some command in the background that we do not know about. Okay, it's this extension. It runs some command that we do not know about, and that's a very bad thing. If you don't know what commands are being run behind your back, वो क्या कर रहा है तुम्हें पता नहीं है. Okay, and it has to do it since it is an extension. So always make sure that you use terminal. तो तुम जो कर रहे हो उसका तुम्हारा full control है तुम्हारे पास. You have full control of what you are doing. Okay. So here we are. Let's create a project. Please write these commands down.
Then can you slightly increase your font size? Yeah, okay. So the one more good practice, always make sure that instead of hyphen every time we use an underscore.
Yeah, sure. Okay, we'll just create it. Now I will show you something very helpful. So कभी भी अगर तुम लोग you are stuck, you don't know the command, तुमको command के बारे में कुछ नहीं पता, so you can just do this. Please type this command down. और कुछ लिखा नहीं है चलेगा, but this command is like the most important thing. It will help you in every command that is it allows you to do. Okay, just this particular command idf.py help. Okay, this is the command. If you can see over here, this is the command. Okay, why is it so helpful? It gives you everything, everything. It gives you all the flags. Flags are basically external information that you give your command. Okay, external information that you give your command. These are all constant values. Okay, that you give your command. तुम उसको version दे सकते हो, chip path दे सकते हो. Okay, तुम्हारा जस्ट थिंक ऑफ इट एज अ प्रोग्राम में अगर कुछ तुम्हें डालना है तो तुम्हें कुछ वैल्यू सिलेक्ट करने होते हैं ना, तुम लोग इससे ये वैल्यू सिलेक्ट कर सकते हो. एज सिंपल एज दैट. फ्लैग्स का यही है. दे प्रोवाइड अ सर्टेन पर्पस. ओके, एंड दीज आर द कमांड्स दैट वी आर लुकिंग फॉर. ओके, इफ यू सी दीज कमांड्स you will understand तुम्हारे काफी सारी चीजें. इट इज वेरी हेल्पफुल. ओके, it helps you a lot in a lot of things. Or okay, so this is a lot of commands. You can check them out. सबका मतलब बाजू में लिखा हुआ रहता है. अगर तुम्हें उसके मतलब का मतलब नहीं पता तो फिर तुम्हें गूगल करना पड़ेगा. Okay, so we have started. We have a project. We will grow into that project. Okay, this is our project. उसका नाम है Hello World, Hello LED. Okay, side by side, I will also open this project. Okay, I will also open this project. The next thing that we want to do is create components. Okay, so what are components? As I defined the components, they are atomic, let's say atomic files that you have access to in your main. Okay, in your main or in another components. As simple as they're a piece of code which can be used anywhere, everywhere, as long as you have rights to use it. As long as you tell your compiler कि मेरे को ये use करना है, मैं इधर use कर रहा हूँ, it will allow you to do that. Okay, as simple as that.
So just an example, Ethernet is a component. Wi-Fi is a component. RS-232 component. RS-485 component. Yeah.
The moment things start getting tricky are when you are dealing with something called as an OTA or MQTT. MQTT is used everywhere. Okay, most of the components might use MQTT because MQTT is not only used for transfer of data, it is also used for sometimes for diagnostic messages. Okay, so the tricky part is कि how sometimes you have created MQTT का different. So MQTT का certain aspects रहता है. You can just your ESP can just access MQTT using one user at a time. For another access, it needs to have another user. So there is something called as ID. So एक ही ID एक बार use कर सकता है. तुम same ID से वापस connection नहीं कर सकते हो. Okay? अगर तुम port 80 से connected हो तो तुम्हारा PC वापस port 80 से connect नहीं हो सकता. Okay? So you create a pseudo ID and then you connect it. So ये जब MQTT use करते हो, तुमने एक folder बनाया MQTT का, but necessarily you need to make sure that तुम्हारे सब calls उसी folder से आ रहे हैं because तुम्हारा जब project चालू हुआ तभी वो folder नहीं था MQTT का. Suddenly there is a need for that folder. Okay? So when you are creating something in कभी भी, always make sure that things are atomic. They are not separated. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि तुम same चीज 3 जगह कर रहे हो. वरना तुम component use ही क्यों कर रहे हो? That is my point to make. That always make sure that the whole point of component is you're using it for the sake that you can have everything separate. All right. Let's create a directory called component. Why do I create a directory called component? Main के साथ कुछ और नहीं होना चाहिए बाहर. Let's keep main separate. Okay. Creating this is easier for us to identify what are components and what is our main file. So component बना दो. I'll just allow you to copy the command. Let's start with LED. Okay. And let us start with hello. Hello world. Okay. मैंने दो component बना दिया है. We will just check them out over here. This is my hello world component. This is my LED component. There is also a header file now. If you can see, दोनों में header file है. CMake list, surprisingly, CMake list अगर देखोगे तो it is as same as your main file. Okay, it is as same as your main file. Okay, got it. Let's start with an include. What is include? So basically, it is as I said कि यहाँ पे तुम तुम्हारे ये डालते हो functions or calls that can be used. Right now, it has created a default function that we don't know about. Okay, everything that ESP का create component does is all automated, so we don't know what it is using. All right, so let us not worry about that. क्योंकि it has also made the name of the function as function, not a good thing, but it is what it is. The CMake list that we see over here is, as I said, very similar. We don't have to worry about CMake list again. What changes in that CMake list? We will go there. We will go there. What major change that do we have to make in CMake list? We will go there. Okay. So let's start. Let's start by understanding Hello World ka example and LED ka example. So for that, okay, the SPSF wants you to learn. Okay, it wants to make sure that you are using their product. So what they have done is they have given you examples. Okay, it doesn't matter that you are starting as a new, you're starting new, you are already having a product on which you are working on. This is where you'll find all your answers. This is like a textbook for you. इस ESP के examples में you will find answers for anything that you have to do. तुम लोग को जो भी करना है, it will most probably have an answer for it. वरना किसी ने open source contribution में खुद का बनाया होगा. Both are possible, but most of the times अगर तुम ESP का project कर रहे हो, तो you don't have to write things from scratch. Okay? तुमको अगर पता नहीं है कि वो ESP क्या क्या प्रोवाइड करता है तुमको, no problem. Just go over here. It will tell you ESP क्या क्या प्रोवाइड करता है. For our purpose, we are just getting started. So let's just go there. Okay. If you can see, things change now. This is a simple blink ka example that it has for us. Okay. Let's start with Hello World. Let's not even go to blink. It has a simple example for Hello World. Okay. I will just copy the contents for now. Okay. I'll just copy the contents for now and place it in our hello world.c. Okay. I'll just close this so you guys can look. Okay. Now the best thing about ESP IDF is that it gives you all everything you need. Okay. So यहाँ पे ये सब header files तुम्हें पहले से ही वो लोग देके रखते हैं. When you compile, ये compile होंगे. But right now, as it exists, these things won't compile. Why? Because अगर तुम तुम्हारा CMake list देखते हो, तो तुमने कहीं पे उसको बोला है क्या ये functions के बारे में? Have you ever specified कि ये कहीं पे use है क्या? कहीं पे exist करते हैं क्या? No, right? तुमने बताया नहीं compiler को कि use कहाँ होते हैं. I will show you an example. Right now, just understand कि यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है. Print hello world. Nice. That is what I wanted. thank you ESP, my work is done. But wait, there is some other information that is also there. नीचे अगर हम जाते हैं तो you will realize कि there are some other information that it gives you. What is it? Why is it required? Whenever you are having a product, the most important thing is logs. Okay, logs are basically logs give you the status of that device. Okay, तुम मल्टीमीटर लेके चेक करने नहीं जा रहे हो हर पिन को. Okay, that is absolutely useless. You need your chip itself to provide you all the information जो तुम्हें चाहिए. So if you see over here, it gives you the chip ka information. These are all macros that ESP has created for us, which we will be using. So we don't have to worry about any of them. We just have to understand them. So first of all, this chip has dash cores with a dash. This is a dash chip with dash cores, and there is a Wi-Fi. All right. So if you see, this is the name of the chip. This is the cores that the chip has. Okay. It just checks कि ये दोनों चीजें तुम्हारे चिप्स के फीचर्स में ये पर्टिकुलर फीचर है क्या, and tells you that this is the feature. Again, checks if this feature is available, tells you that feature is there. Silicon revision, again, very important when you need to go into production. All right. The revision number is very important. Flash size. So there are different when you are programming, if you have knowledge of programming, if you have done it, there are addresses. Okay, 0 se leke, let's say 50,000. Let us suppose that. Okay, you as a programmer don't have access to all the address. You are not supposed to have access to all the address. Okay, you are given access to very specific set of addresses. Okay, बाकी का क्या? हमें हमेशा ये क्वेश्चन आता है कि ये मेरे को इतना ही जगह क्यों दे रहा है? Why does my address start with 20,000 or 25,000? उसके पहले का why can't I access it? Or why I can't go after 40,000? Okay, why? Now we will understand why. There is something called as bootloader. Okay, there is something called as bootloader, which actually takes some space because कल जाके तुमने प्रोग्राम लिखा, तुम भले ही जितने अच्छे प्रोग्रामर हो, the chip can't rely on your programming skills. कल जाके तुम्हारे प्रोग्राम की वजह से कुछ हो गया तो चिप अगर ब्रेक हो गया तो इट इज एब्सोल्युटली यूजलेस प्रोडक्ट. आर यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग माय पॉइंट? कल तुम्हारी वजह से अगर चिप प्रोडक्ट ये हो रहा है तो तुम ये बोलोगे ना कि दिस प्रोडक्ट इज यूजलेस बिकॉज ये इजीली ब्रेक हो जाता है. तो देयर इज अ रीजन, देयर आर सेफ्टी मैकेनिज्म्स दैट द ESP हैव डेवलप्ड. ओके, जहां से कल जाके अगर तुम्हारे प्रोडक्ट में कुछ फॉल्ट हुआ, वो कुछ क्रैश हुआ, देयर इज अ गुरु मेडिएशन एरर और एनी काइंड ऑफ एरर, it will just reboot itself or perform certain tasks. Okay, it won't allow it to break the device. Breaking the device is basically making it absolutely useless. It is stuck in one state and it won't go any further from that. Okay, that's what breaking a device means. So इसके लिए ये सब flash का information, heap size कितना free है, all these informations are very important for you to understand what went wrong with your firmware. Okay. See, we are now restarting it after certain seconds. So this is how we restart it. There is ESP_restart. Simple API call. तो my device restart हो जाएगा. Okay. It can be brilliantly used for a lot of different things. Okay. कल जाके तुम Wi-Fi से connect करने का try कर रहे हो, but वो connect नहीं हो रहा. Okay. But तुमने उसको सिर्फ बोला है कि तू 10 बार try कर फिर छोड़ दे. फिर क्या? तुम्हें Wi-Fi चाहिए. You need the Wi-Fi, right? And you can't just tell it to 100 bar try kar. That is a waste of your threads. Okay, you can't do that. So you just reboot the device and ask it to try again. You just say कि no, I don't want this. You need to try again. My all systems are related on your success. So let's reboot and try again. Okay, it is way simpler than adding manually. There is a reason ESP_restart is very helpful. Very helpful. Okay. So this is what we need to understand. For our purposes, we don't need anything of this right now. Okay, we won't flash it to make things simple for us, and we won't consider all these API calls. Okay, we will be just dealing with our hello world. All right. This is as simple as it gets. Okay. If you see over here, यहाँ पे app.mini, let's say it is hello_world. Another good practice. तुम्हारा जो there is always okay, so do you guys now know what is main, right? Main.c समझ गए तुम लोगों को? Okay. Main dot C समझ गया है ना? Each and every component has a initialization function. Init करना रहता है तुम्हें. Initialization. Each and every component that we have created will have its own init. Okay. What is the purpose of that init function? The purpose of it init function is you start your component, you start your task, you start something. Okay. So this init particular thing. So for us, it will be init underscore hello world. As simple as that. Okay. Okay. Now we will just यहाँ पे भी header file में भी change कर देंगे हम लोग. This is my function now. Okay. So this is something that I want to call. Okay. This is what my function is doing. Okay. And now all I have to do is just go to this. इसको मैं rename कर देता हूँ वापस. Check अगर yeah good. Okay. I will go there. Now what I will do is I will include. What was the name? If you can see, it was hello world.h. VS Code is very nice. It does the job for you. Okay. What is the function API called? Init hello world. Again, VS Code is very nice. It gives you suggestions. Okay. Done. You have successfully created a component and called it in your main. That was very simple, right? Yeah. That's how you started. Now comes to LED. Now we come to LED. Okay. Now things will start changing. Okay. We are done with hello world. Now let's come to LED. Now this is how this is the real deal now. Okay. Again, do we write it pura khud se? No, we don't do that. Okay. Okay. We will just go over here. Main में जाके we will just copy the example that it has for us.
There, can you increase the font size a bit?
किसका इसका?
Even your main this thing. Just do so on your main system. Just do a control and scroll. It will increase the font size.
Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what we have right now. Again, let us not go there. All right. So it is accessing some things. We are not using an LED strip. Okay. We are using GPIOs. That is correct. Okay. Coming to tags. Okay. What are tags? So जब भी तुम normally programming करते हो तुम print करते हो बराबर? You print. Python में print करते हो, C में printf करते हो. हम लोग के hello world भी printf ही कर रहा है. अपना hello world किधर गया? अपना hello world भी printf ही कर रहा है. Okay. But the challenging part comes now. When you're dealing with components, when you're seeing your error log, तुम्हें error log बता रहा है a pin GPIO pin undefined. Okay. तुम्हारा प्रोजेक्ट में से 10 में से 7 कंपोनेंट GPIO यूज कर रहे हैं. तुम्हें कैसे पता कौन सा कंपोनेंट है? वो तो खुद का काम कर रहा है. वो तुम्हें बता रहा है कि GPIO pin not found. रन टाइम में बता रहा है, कंपाइल टाइम में भी नहीं बता रहा वो. बिगेस्ट मिस्टेक, वो रन टाइम में तुम्हें बता रहे कि ये GPIO पिन उसको मिल नहीं रहा है. तुम क्या करोगे? तुम्हें पता नहीं, तुम्हें 7 फाइल ढूंढना पड़ेगा, सातों फाइल में तुम्हें चेक करना पड़ेगा. सो व्हाट इज अ गुड प्रैक्टिस ओवर हियर? यू हैव समथिंग कॉल्ड एज लॉग्स. लॉगिंग का फॉर्मेट होता है. ओके. ESP log I. This is a logging that it provides. So it has the ability to have something called as tag. कंपल्सरी वो टैग तुम्हें डालना ही पड़ता है इफ यू आर यूजिंग लॉग्स. अगर मैं इधर लिख दूं LED, ओके, तो कल जाके अगर वो कुछ एरर डालेगा लॉग, तो वो टैग के साथ डालेगा. इट विल शो मी दैट दिस पर्टिकुलर टैग हैज एन एरर. तो कल जाके अगर मेरे को वो बोल रहा है कि उसको GPIO पे नहीं मिल रहा है, तो मुझे पता रहेगा कि वो क्यों कहां से उसको नहीं मिल रहा. तो आई कैन क्विकली गो इनटू माय LED कंपोनेंट, क्विकली फिक्स इट एंड आई विल बी गुड टू गो. आर यू गाइस अंडरस्टैंडिंग?
Do you understand this? Yes. Yes.
Okay. So let us start with hash define now. मैंने सबसे पहले इस बारे में बात किया था. Hash define. Hash define say you will start getting a constant. Right now we are not using menu config. Okay, we are not doing that path. But we are just gonna do a normal wala. If you want, we can start with menu config. In fact, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's go to kconfig and have this ability to change it using menu config. Okay, let's do that. Okay, ये भी सीख लेते हैं. Okay, तुम लोगों को पता है स्टार्टिंग में हमने वो देखा था जहाँ पे हमने ESP का फ्रीक्वेंसी वगैरह देखा था. Do you guys remember? Yeah. वहां पे वो एस्प्रेसएफ ने खुद बना के दिया था. अगर तुम्हें वो चाहिए, तुम्हें उसमें खुद का कुछ डालना है, तो दिस इज व्हाट यू डू. ओके, क्रिएट अ के कॉन्फ़िग. दिस इज द फाइल फॉर्मेट. उसके अंदर क्रिएट अ मेनू. दिस इज द मेनू दैट इट गिव्स यू. ओके, दिस इज व्हाट इट प्रोवाइड्स यू विद. ठीक है, दिस इज व्हाट इट प्रोवाइड्स यू विद, एंड दिस इज द फॉर्मेट दैट यू यूज. You give yourself a choice. There is a blink LED. What is the prompt? Default क्या है? Default values are very important when you are doing menu config. Remember, default values are very important. Default values के बिना if you use default values और कल जाके तुमने menu config से कुछ change नहीं किया तो तुम्हारा program crash नहीं होगा. Okay, so default values डालना is a very good habit. Doesn't matter usually what that is because most of the times new projects में new values रहते हैं, but there should be a default value. Okay, for sake of it. Okay. There is channel it gives you. There are lots of things that it gives you. We don't know what they are right now. Okay, we will see it when we go to our code. This is of our interest. Blink LED GPIO. Okay, GPIO चाहिए कि नहीं LED blink करना है तो. Okay, so now restriction देखो उसका. It doesn't allow you to it doesn't allow you a number beyond 48. Okay, 0 से लेके 48 तक ही. Can anyone tell me why? Okay.
ESP32 is 3 as maximum width of 48.
Chip जितना साइज तुम्हारे पास रहेगा, जितना पिन्स अवेलेबल रहेगा, उतना ही रेंज रहेगा, राइट? This is the maximum pin they offer in any of their device. समझ रहे हो? 48 is the maximum number of pins. 49 to be honest, क्योंकि वो 0 से ले रहा है. 49 is the maximum number of pin they offer. That's the reason GPIO वहाँ पे वो लोग ने सेट करके रखा है कि कल जाके तुम 50 रखोगे तो एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करता इतना पिन. Okay, and if you see, depending upon तुम्हारा चिप कौन सा है, it also has set default values. Okay, so अगर C3 यूज कर रहे हो तो 8 है, S2 यूज कर रहे हो तो 18 है, AC32 S3 यूज कर रहे हो तो 48 है. Are you understanding? They have already set it up for you. Alright, and blink period, तुम्हें कितने period तक blinking चाहिए? Usually 1 second. This is the maximum it allows you. 10 से लेके this is the maximum amount of second it allows you. After that, it will some watchdog will kicking and we will have to restart our device again. Okay. So let's get back to our this. So this ये हमने इधर सेट किया. किधर गया? See? Can you see it? So to access that particular thing, you will have to config underscore डालना पड़ता है to access it. Okay? के config या ये जो हमने मेन्यू देखा उसको access करना है तो there is config underscore. That is what tells us कि भाई SDK config में जाके देख रहेगा. Okay? Are you guys understanding? Okay? We set LED state. फिलहाल तो 0 है. Starting में blink कर रहे हैं LED तो starting में state off रहेगा. We don't care about this. We are not using it. So if you see, as a programmer, as a firmware developer, you need to support stuff. भले तुम use नहीं कर रहे हो. Even if you are not using it as a programmer or as a firmware developer, you need to support certain stuff. Okay, कि कल जाके अगर use करना हो तो use कर सके. There is where this comes in. If def. Okay, very beautiful thing when it comes to compile time checks. It checks कि ऐसा कुछ exist करता है क्या? तुम्हारे config में ऐसा कुछ exist करता है क्या? करता है, brilliant. You will run this particular thing. Okay, you will start compiling. बट अगर ऐसा कुछ एग्जिस्ट करता ही नहीं है तो इट विल जस्ट स्किप till it finds this. Okay, for right now is elif. If you want to end it, it is endif. So it is as simple as if else. If else पढ़ा रहेगा ना तुम लोगों ने? This is if else but in compile time. Okay, तुम्हारा if else run time में रन होता है, hash ये सब compile time में रन होता है. तो it checks if it exists तो वो आगे compile करेगा वरना नहीं करेगा. elif वापस से वो चेक करेगा कि does it exist तो compile time करेगा वरना नहीं करेगा. Okay, as simple as that. Currently we do not require this क्योंकि we are not using any kind of ये. We are not using LED strips. Okay, so we will not bother going there. Okay, so now we are trying with two function. एक function जो तुम्हारा GPIO set करता है, Arduino अगर use किया रहेगा तो तुम्हें पता रहेगा. Okay, इसका भी same ही job है. It is very similar. You don't have to worry about it. You set the level. Okay, exactly same thing तुम जो Arduino में करते हो वो same चीज यहाँ पे करनी है. Once first you want to configure LED, तो तुम कैसे configure करोगे? See, it is giving you some log. It is giving you some log. Now, can someone tell me कि ये log का मुझे सबसे बड़ा advantage क्या होगा? भले एक print statement है. Although it is a print statement, what will it tell me?
Debugging के लिए काम है.
See, as a programmer, as a developer, it will tell me that देख तेरा ये जो function है ना वो अच्छे से run हुआ है. Okay, I was able to go inside it and I was able to run something inside it. तो अगर कल जाके if I add another log over here, अगर मेरे को सिर्फ यही लॉग दिख रहा है मेरे लॉग्स में तो मेरे को पता चल जाएगा कि हाँ ये तो बराबर रन हुआ था, प्रॉब्लम इसमें है या फिर इधर है. Are you guys understanding? So although this particular statement seem very useless, as a programmer it will help you a lot to identify तुम्हारा प्रॉब्लम कहाँ था, where did the problem lie. Okay, and that's the beauty of logs. It will allow you to pinpoint the problem. Okay, you can use debugger. Absolutely, you can use debugger, but using debugger, especially on embedded systems or IoT systems, can be a little bit of a harder task. वो JTAG वगैरह use करना पड़ता है. But the best, easiest way to get something quickly done is using logs. Logs are your friend. Okay. अगर किसी ने तुम लोग ने अगर प्रिंट ऑफ किया रहेगा तो तुम्हें पता रहेगा कि वो डॉलर साइन डाल के यू कैन ऐड स्टफ. सेम थिंग कैन बी डन ओवर हियर. तो तुम्हें वो डॉलर साइन किया परसेंटेज साइन डाल के आई कैन ऐड स्टफ. ओके, लाइक यू डू इन योर प्रिंट स्टेटमेंट. सो मेरे को अगर कुछ डायनामिक चीज प्रिंट करना है तो वो भी कर सकता हूँ. यू रीसेट द पेन अगेन, गुड थिंग टू डू, रीसेट इट. ओके, देन सेट द डायरेक्शन. इनपुट है कि आउटपुट है. जीपीआईओ कैन बी इनपुट और आउटपुट. आर्डिनो में तुम्हें किया रहेगा ये. आर्डिनो में भी अगर किया रहेगा तो आर्डिनो में भी यू सेट. ओके, आउटपुट है कि इनपुट है. एंड देन फाइनली तुम्हारा फंक्शन देखोगे तो वहां पे तुम स्टेट एलईडी का चेंज कर रहे हो. ओके, इफ यू सी ओवर हियर कॉन्फ़िगर एलईडी इज आउटसाइड योर व्हाइल लूप. व्हाई? तुम्हें कॉन्फ़िगर एक ही बार करना है बट तुम्हें एलईडी को ब्लिंक बार बार करना है. आर यू गाइस अंडरस्टैंडिंग? So if you see over here, this is a very bad practice. While this is a very bad practice if you want to do something like blinking of LED. Okay, so what should you do instead of using while? You can create something called as task. Do you guys know what tasks are?
Not sure.
Okay, so tasks, अगर तुम कंप्यूटर खोलोगे, तुम्हारा लैपटॉप खोलोगे, मैं ये दिखा देता हूँ बेस्ट. ये मेरा टास्क मैनेजर है बराबर. अगर तुम देखोगे तो मेरे सब एप्लीकेशंस है. चलो VS कोड का ये खोल के देखते हैं. कैन यू सी दिस? VS Code is running lot of things. Okay, it is running this extension. It is running console. Okay, it is running multiple things. It is IntelliSense run कर रहा है. Okay, so these can be compared with our tasks. Okay, तुम्हारा ESP जो है, okay, तुम्हें LED ब्लिंक करना है. चलो मुझे LED ब्लिंक करना है तो will I wait for it? जब तक वो LED ब्लिंक करना खत्म नहीं होगा will I wait for it? अगर ऐसा करने का कोशिश कर रहे हो तो देख लो क्या है. कब तक वेट करना पड़ेगा देख लो. पूरा तुम्हारा डिवाइस ब्लॉक्ड है just because you wanted to blink an LED. Doesn't make any sense. Okay, right now तुम ऐसे प्रोग्रामिंग कर रहे हो which is linear. Okay, you are doing linear. Okay, what task allows you to branch? It allows you to branch out. तुम एलईडी रन कर रहे हो, करने दो चलेगा, बट तुम उसके साथ साथ बाकी चीजें भी रन कर सकते हो. Okay, at the same particular time.
Difference between while one and task. While one full core लेके बैठ गया है पूरा टाइम के लिए, राइट? तो वो एलईडी से ब्लिंक करने में उसका टाइम वेस्ट कर रहा है. Whereas tasks basically have made you branch out from the core, right? So the task will think that the core is for it, but each task will be time division multiplies, and each task on its own time will access the core. Clear? Also, what he showed on the task manager are not tasks, they are processes. In terms of general purpose operating system, these are processes. When it comes to embedded systems, so what tasks are, he will go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll close them. Also, one more beautiful thing. If you see, it allows you to search from PID. This is something called as process ID. All processes have ID normal OS. Okay. Similar thing are in embedded. There is no ID as such, but you will see कि होता क्या है. There is a specification that even they have. Even tasks that we are in embedded system, they have something very unique and very specific to them. Okay. We will go into that. Okay. So we are done with simple understanding. Now let us understand tasks. Okay. So I will just go for this. Also, one more good thing to do. जब भी तुम ESP के documents ये करते हो ना, make sure that you are on the right version. For me, it's 4.4.4. Please make sure this is very very important क्योंकि API calls अलग-अलग होते हैं. Okay. So please keep this in mind. So I want to do tasks. Okay, if you want to understand the whole process of what it actually does, you guys can actually look into how it is actually starting the processes. Okay, so right now we will just do tasks in ESP. Okay, now simple thing, very important thing. कुछ चीजें तुम्हें है ना ESP देता है, but all the other calls are given by free RTOS. Okay, free real-time systems, free RTOS. Okay, कुछ चीजें कुछ APIs तुम्हें ESP देता है, बाकी सब चीजें तुम्हें free RTOS से आती है. So tasks are not part of ESP, IDF. They are part of free RTOS. Okay. Free RTOS is just a real-time operating system. There are other real-time operating systems that are there, but this is the one that is freely available and used by people. Okay. Okay. So let us dig into what is important. If you see, there are two header files which are really really important. Okay. Okay. In fact, let's. I think I have it ready.
So just an FYI, you'll be given 2 files today morning. Okay, that is what the free RTOS does. All the functions that are being used by ESP32, ESP IDF are all brought in from free RTOS.
Free RTOS. Free RTOS. It just gives you a good familiar functions to have interaction with. Okay. Yeah. Let's start over here. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. So there are two types that it allows you actually. Two types में it allows you. Either you can pin it to a core or let ESP decide उसके साथ क्या करना है. Okay. There are two tasks that it allows you right now. There are multiple it allows you in fact, but two that we will focus on is right now कि तू एक core को चिपक के बैठ, तू core को चिपक के बैठ, तू उससे बाहर मत आ. Second is तुझे जो अच्छा लगता है वो यूज कर, तुझे जो फ्री लगता है वो यूज कर. ठीक है. It defaults to zero. So these are the two things that it provides. What we are interested in today is pin to core. Okay. You can easily run two different tasks on two different cores. Okay. They are separated from each other. They won't interfere with each other. अगर तुमने पूरा core block कर दिया फिर भी चलेगा. Are you guys understanding? पूरा कोड अगर ब्लॉक हो गया फिर भी चलेगा क्योंकि वो दोनों डिफरेंट कोर में एक्ट कर रहे हैं. What we are interested is in making it work in a single core. Okay, so that is where pin to core is there. Pin to core will pin that particular task to the core. Okay, वो core में वो pin करेगा.
Cores, you will pin task 1 to core 1 or core 0 and task 2 to core 1. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you just increase the font size on this, please, because this is not visible.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. So if you guys want to follow along, you can just open this website. Like I had written it last year during my practicals, so you guys can follow along with me. Okay. Starting with the explanation point. What does it allow? Okay, the function allows the function of the task. What function do you want to run? अपने सिनेरियो में क्या रहेगा वो? अपने सिनेरियो में क्या रहेगा? This particular function, let us name it init underscore led. Okay, तो अपने सिनेरियो में क्या रहेगा? Init underscore led. Okay. Name of the task. Name of the task, again, a unique identification of that task. For us, it is LED blink. Okay. Tag that what is the allowing what addresses are you allowing कि तू इतना stack का ये use कर सकता है. Usually it is 2048 for small task. Because बड़ा task है तुम्हें पता है कि ज्यादा लेने वाला है तो 4096. Okay, this becomes very okay. I had faced this issue. I will give you a very real example. We were dealing with MQTT. Okay, हम MQTT के साथ deal कर रहे थे. वो MQTT का एक task था, ठीक है. That task, I had created a new task and I was running it, but मेरे को बहुत guru mediation error आ रहा था. Okay, so what was happening was कि मेरा जो stack depth है वो बहुत कम था. वो बेचारा access करने का try कर रहा था, but उसको मिल ही नहीं रहा था. Okay, so I increased the stack depth and I was able to run it properly because it required more resources than I was giving it. Okay, so you can restrict the resources that you give it. For most purposes, 2048 is fine. But आगे जाके 4096, if it is just incremented based on your requirements. Okay, keep it to 4096 अगर चाहिए तो. There are some other parameters that it allows you. Okay, there's priority. Okay, this is something that we'll be looking at. Priorities क्या होती है? And ID. Okay, see there we go. हमने process PID देखा था, वैसे ये task का भी एक unique ID है. Okay.
So yesterday, everyone remembers I was talking about priority, as priority, right? So that is what we.
Okay, all right. So now let us look at the code. Okay, this code, this is I had written for this particular apna practicals, and this is the code that I used. So let us start by understanding it. It is very simple, and once we understand this, we will quickly be able to put it in the components. Okay. We are including all the important things that are required. Drivers है जो भी तुम्हारे important है, free RTOS है वगैरह वगैरह. Now again, most important thing, this particular thing is there in the main file. But are we using main file? What are we using now? We are using components. तो components में तुम्हें define करना पड़ेगा. कैसे define करते हो? कैसे define करते हो? Let's go there, because this is where things start changing. Okay, this is my LED, बराबर. Okay, how do I tell it कि मेरे को क्या चाहिए? Okay, it's a very nice completing system वो मुझे दे रहा है, so I will take it. If you see, can you see this requires? तुम्हें अगर स्टार्टिंग में अगर हमने देखा था, पता है तुम्हारा प्रोजेक्ट जो है वो तुम प्रोजेक्ट को बोलते हो कि भाई कंपोनेंट्स इधर है, तू उधर जाके देख, कुछ भी तेरे को चाहिए तो. We told them, right, कि तू you can go there and see कि मुझे ये चीज चाहिए, बराबर. Requires, अभी you can't. Okay, very simple thing. मैं प्रोजेक्ट बना रहा हूँ. Okay, मैं जब तुम bin करते हो, when you compress it and convert it to a binary. Okay,
ऐसा लेक्चर चालू करूँगा. किसी ने कहना ब्रेक नहीं देते थे, इसके साढ़े रोने का दिया, सर ने बोला है ब्रेक नहीं मिलेगा तुम लोगों को. रोने का है ही नहीं.
Okay, so requires. Okay, so when you see अभी है ना ESP के पास है ना हजारों कंपोनेंट्स है, तो तुम जब बाइनरी फाइल बनाओगे तुम सबको इंक्लूड करोगे क्या? इट इज अ फुलिश थिंग टू डू. इट्स एब्सोल्युटली फुलिश थिंग टू इंक्लूड एवरीथिंग. ओके, तो तुम्हारा बाइनरी 2 GB का बनेगा, उसका साइज भी नहीं उतना लेने का. Okay, so how do I deal with it? How do I deal with this particular thing? So I tell my particular component तुझे क्या क्या चाहिए, तुझे कौन से components को use करना है. Okay, how do I do it? I tell my CMake कि देख, I require something. It's your job to find where it is. It's your job to bring it to me and link it. I will just tell you कि मुझे क्या चाहिए. Okay, I need driver. Why do I need driver? GPIO. Okay, I need free RTOS. I need free RTOS. Correct. I don't need these things. Okay. NetF वगैरह तुम्हारा वाईफाई वगैरह में आता है. Okay. We don't need all these things. मुझे वाईफाई चाहिए. I'm using Wi-Fi. No, I'm not using Wi-Fi. Am I using free RTOS? Yes, I'm using free RTOS. JSON. No, नहीं चाहिए JSON भी. Okay, so there are lots of things that it has. Okay, so right now we just need some important things. Correct, we don't need everything. Okay, so this is how you tell your compiler कि देख मैं ये पर्टिकुलर फाइल में ये सब चीजें यूज कर रहा हूँ, कहाँ से भी मुझे लाके दे. ओके, एंड इट विल ऑब्वियसली ब्रिंग इट, क्योंकि तुमने एकदम प्रोजेक्ट के स्टार्ट में जो सीमेक लिस्ट था उसको तुमने बता के रखा था कि भाई गो टू दिस सीमेक फाइल. ये सीमेक फाइल में सारे डेफिनेशंस है कि कौन सी चीज किधर है. ओके, when you are compiling, it will compile it for you. Now it is again very smart. Okay, गलती से चलो तुम वी डोंट हैव दैट मच नॉलेज, हमने एक्स्ट्रा चीजें डाल दी यहाँ पे जो हमको नहीं चाहिए. ठीक है, अब वी आर नॉट दैट स्मार्ट, हमको कुछ पता नहीं है तो हमने एक्स्ट्रा चीजें डाल दी तो हमको नहीं चाहिए. जब वो कंपाइल करेगा बाइनरी वेरी स्मार्टली, इट विल सी कि हैव आई एवर यूज्ड दिस हेडर फाइल्स. मैं कभी टीसीपी आईपी अडाप्टर यूज किया है क्या? कहीं कहीं कभी यूज ही नहीं किया, मेरे को कहीं दिखाई नहीं है उसका कुछ फंक्शन कॉल. रिमूव. वाईफाई यूज ही नहीं हो रहा, रिमूव. ओके, so it automatically removes it. You don't have to worry about it. That's the reason they have created this whole thing. That's the reason it exists. It automatically removes तुमको जो जो नहीं चाहिए. But now comes the weird part. वो तुमको point out करेगा. It will shout at you if you don't give it. If you don't give it this to it, it will shout कि मेरे को ये कहीं मिल नहीं रहा. Okay? Extra डालोगे चलेगा, कम डालोगे नहीं चलेगा. Are you understanding my point? Okay. Yeah, that's what requires this. Going back to our ये, so ये सब अलग अलग ये
I'm just waiting. You've got 10 minutes.
Yeah,
We'll
I will
continue. You've got 10 minutes now.
I will quickly start wrapping things up. Okay, there are two cores मैंने define कर दिया. Core 0 है, core 1 है. ठीक है. Let's in fact go here. Yeah. So let's go here. There are cores that I have defined. Okay. Now what I want to do is there are two tasks that I have created. This is the first task, blink LED. Okay. This is the first task that I have, blinking of LED ka. Can you guys see it? Actually, you know what? Let's make it very easy. Yeah, let's make it very easy. I will show it to you exactly what I mean. Can you see the requires over here? I will just quickly push the size up. Requires दिख रहा है?
Yes.
These two things are required for our LED task. Okay. Now let us go priority task.c. Okay. हम सब जो कर रहे हैं वो core 0 पे कर रहे हैं. Fine, fair. जो भी कर रहे हैं हम core 0 पे कर रहे हैं. Define pin 2. The default LED pin जो ESP देता है तुम लोग को pin 2 है. The tag that I have right now for my printing out is LED status. So it will tell me कि ये LED का जो भी है problem LED का होगा. There are task handlers. Usually task handlers are null. You can go into depths and understand why you require task handlers. Task handlers interrupts के लिए काम आते हैं. You guys interrupts from your side. you can actually usually the ESP will interrupt if it finds something wrong, but तुम खुद भी कर सकते हो. If you want a certain task, तुम्हें समझो डेटा चाहिए, तुमको ह्यूमिडिटी चाहिए, ठीक है, ह्यूमिडिटी चाहिए और टेम्परेचर चाहिए, तुम्हें ह्यूमिडिटी और टेम्परेचर ले लिया, ओके. आफ्टर दैट do you need it for another hour or another 10 minutes or another 15 minutes? तुम एक एक सेकंड तो नहीं ले रहे हो ना ह्यूमिडिटी और टेम्परेचर. Okay, what I will do, I will tell it, hold yourself. I will tell it कि task को hold कर. I will interrupt that task कि you need not run right now. So now I have extra power on my hand. मैंने वो task को रोक दिया है, वो जो भी ले रहा था उसको. Now I have extra power on my hand. I can use it for uploading the data. Okay, networks पे काम करना is the very heavy part. Okay, in any embedded systems, IoT systems, talking with the network is the hard part. It requires a lot of power. Okay, lots of things are going in background and you require a lot of power. So it is a good practice to stop unwanted things if you don't need them. Okay, I will just tell it that I don't need you for a while. You can hold yourself off. Once I send the data, I will start you again. You can start running again. Okay, and वो the Rajasthan वाला example. वहां पे तो बेस्ट यू आर बैटरी खा रहा है, तुम्हारा टास्क रन कर रहा है, वो बैटरी भी खा रहा है. You don't need that, right? Every particular थोड़ा सा भी बैटरी बचा तो it counts. Okay, that's the reason interrupts are can be used by programmers also. Okay, a simple GPIO तुम लोग select करते हो. You select the GPIO, you select the pin. Okay, you set the log level. There are different levels of log. Okay, there's an info level, there's a danger level. अब ये सब क्या है? कुछ नहीं, अपनी आंखों के लिए है वो. आंखों के लिए. That's as simple as that. It is for your eyes. Red means danger. We know that. Green means success. We know that. This is what we are using right now. You tell it what type of log level is it, and उस हिसाब से वो तुम्हें देगा. Danger है तो तुम्हें पता चलेगा, लाल लाल दिख रहा है तो मतलब something went wrong. Okay. And color coding is very important.
You will highlight in red. Successful compilation green. Simple as that.
Okay. But, yeah, then there is set direction जो तुम Arduino में use करते हो कि in है या out है. Initialize starting में हमेशा we keep it to 0. Okay. Again, if you see over here, I still use while. Okay. I'm still using while. Okay. This particular time I have control over this while loop. Because I'm using tasks. If I want something, my task will simply stop. Okay, मेरा task stop हो जाएगा. Okay, so that's the reason I don't have to worry about this now. Now I can successfully use this infinite loop because I have control over whether I can stop it or not because I'm using tasks. Okay, you set GPIO. Okay, there's a task delay. Okay, so there is a 1000 upon port tick. This is the format that we are using. Now next you're logging कि ये देखो, can you see this? Just like you use print में, I'm using it to my advantage. I'm using logs to tell me क्या हो रहा है. It is saying turning LED from core and priority. See, I'm checking क्या हो रहा है. I'm getting the core ID. I'm getting the priority of the task. Okay, simple API calls, and it makes your life very easy. Okay. Next, simple flip कर दो, on off flip कर दो. Flush. Why are you flushing? Okay. Data जो तुम्हारा console को जो data है, okay. There is input and output buffers. If you have ever worked with C low level, कोई भी चीज के लिए there are buffers. There is an input buffer, there is output buffer. It is a good practice to flush things out to keep things clean. So next time you want to open the buffer, you don't have to worry about the garbage. Okay. So what you do is you flush the data, okay, and move the buffer data to the console. तुम buffer में collect करते हो data, you flush it to your console. So now I can see क्या जो भी हो रहा है वो. Okay, that's the whole point of using flush. If you don't using it is still fine क्योंकि IDF is very smart and it does it on its own, but it is a good practice. Always follow good practices. This is another task, again infinite loop. After some time it will, if you see over here, to make sure that I can easily distinguish between them and there is no race condition. मैंने दोनों का delay थोड़ा ऊपर नीचे रखा है. Okay, just for this goodness sake. Okay, if you keep them together, तुम्हें race condition वगैरह दिखेगा. कभी कभी एक ज्यादा दिख रहा है, एक कम दिख रहा है, सडनली दूसरा ज्यादा दिख रहा है, तीसरा कम दिख रहा है. अगर इफ यू गिव इट सेम प्रायोरिटी, हायर प्रायोरिटी रहेगा तो तुम्हें दूसरा वाला टास्क बहुत कम दिखेगा. ओके ओके okay, so one more thing, this, can you see this thing, void PV parameter? If you are dealing with tasks, this is very important. If you forget this, तुम्हारा compiler will cry. Okay, PV parameters are some certain things that it allows you to insert. We will not go into depth. तुम लोग उसके बारे में read कर सकते हो, but if you don't do it, it will cry. Okay, so please be.
Guide, manual guide has this particular thing.
Here we are doing same thing again. I'm using a log to my advantage. I'm telling ki to ESP ja, okay, get me the priority, get me whatever it is running, so I can see it in the logs. Okay.
Dev, I think we can continue later. Can you, after this, so basically let's assume that they have this particular thing with them, right? They understand how to write the code, check priorities. How do you build? How do you flash? Can you just quickly show them that, and then possibly we'll take another session continuing from here.
Sure.
Because
okay,
we are out of time actually.
So there is a command called IDF file.build. Hopefully it doesn't give us any errors. Let's see if it gives us any errors. It takes a lot of time to build when you're using Windows system. Just keep in mind, बहुत time लेता है Windows system में. Linux में it is way quicker because of certain things that they have done it in Windows. Okay, certain things की वजह से it takes a lot of time. Can you see this over here? Yeah, this is another thing that we can talk about while this compiles. Partition tables. Partition tables में can you see size वगैरह, offset वगैरह. These are the starting locations. Okay, first starting location, second starting location, and blah 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 blah. Okay, the good thing when we are talking about this is you will have different partitions वहाँ पे तुम्हारा data store है, non-volatile storage है. Do you want a normal person to have access to that? No. Keep it separate. Physical installation, let's keep it separate. This is our actual app. Keep it separate. So you can divide it into different partitions. For us, for our example, we are using इसका OTA के लिए. There are 2 OTAs के लिए. तुम लोग ने पढ़ा रहेगा तो 2 OTA के लिए जगह रहता है. You can read about what kind of partitions can you do and why is it important to have partitions.
B to A and A to B, right? Yes. जब भी आपका OTA update आता है, पहले वो एक partition में रहता है. Okay, आपके original partition में already आपका current build system चालू रहता है. After the update goes through, it goes from partition A to partition B. So that is basically what he's saying about partitions. I think this is stuck at 470 on.
Yeah.
So can you mention the procedure कि step by step क्या करना है till build and then flash monitor. So just so that they know, and then they will start referring. So what you do is send out your repo for this to me, and I'll share it with them so that they can start at least having a look कि कैसे करना है एक task. All right, so
they can just follow my blogs जिस पे मैंने ये सब information लिख के रखा है.
Perfect. So give me the link for that particular thing, and I'll share it out.
चलेगा, I will do that. Got it. I will share it with you. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Perfect. So basically, steps that you will require to go from point A to point Z. All right. That's what I want you to mention on the notepad right now that you were just writing.
Okay. First, start. I will push all the commands that we have. You first do idf.py create project. Okay, and name of the project, whatever the project name is. LED.
Yeah, whatever. I mean that's okay.
Yeah.
That is, yeah.
That's the first thing. That's what you start with. Then for creating the components, just create a component. For good practices, as we discussed, you will create a component ka directory and then create a components inside it. Okay. Okay. You will just create components inside it. Okay. Let's say LED first, and then you will create hello. Okay, so this will create do component. Okay, then you will make all the changes that we discussed over here. CMake list के बारे में we discussed of how we actually do include DIRs, requires. Okay, requires is very important aspect as we discussed. This is something you need to keep in mind. These are the places where you actually make mistakes. Try to stay away from kconfig right now. It can be a little messy when you're starting up. Once you're comfortable with CMake list and everything, then switch over to kconfigs. So take your time and then go over to kconfig. Kconfig, as we discussed, you can create your own GUI. It is just a simple scripting language जिससे तुम उसको बोल रहे हो menu config को कि मेरे लिए GUI बना. It creates a GUI for you that we just saw in the starting. Okay. Try to use इधर के commands. So there is ESP monitor, ESP flash, build flash and monitor. This is most of the times तुम यही use करोगे. Commands for them are very easy. For building it is idf.py build, but flashing के लिए now this is very important. Flashing के लिए you need to specify port. Okay. For me it's COM3 right now. Okay. वो तुम्हारा कहाँ से देखते हो? I will show it to you where you see तुम्हारा COM port कौन सा use हो रहा है.
It's basically your device manager.
Device manager. Yeah, device manager में जाओ and see it. Most of the times you will see कि तुम्हारा laptop already कुछ use कर रहा है. For me it's keyboard and mouse, तो वो मुझे दिखा रहा है. Okay. So right now that I have is COM3. Okay. Silicon Labs का ये मेरा जो है वो. If you see it is using another ports which I don't have to care about. So make sure you're using the right port. It will flash and it will show you. Now, if you have again another important thing where you will definitely face problems. Can you see this? Is it visible?
Yes, yes.
If you see over here, most of the times when you flash now, वो तुमको connecting दिखा रहा रहेगा. वो तुम्हें connecting दिखाएगा. So to make sure that you are doing it correct, there is something called as boot button. Okay, अगर तुम कॉलेज का यूज कर रहे हो तो तुम्हें ये नहीं करना पड़ेगा. अगर तुम्हें खुद का लिया है तो तुम्हें वो करना पड़ेगा. Whenever it is connecting, just press on boot button. This is because कि some of the chips don't have ESP का capacitor, which actually hits on the right time when you are connecting it. कुछ जगह कुछ उसमें नहीं होता. तो अगर तुम्हें ऐसा वो connecting दिख रहा है and it is not able to connect, try to press boot button once it is trying to connect, so you can successfully connect them. It just gives a certain pulse at a certain time जिससे वो connect हो सकता है. Again, one more important thing, there is something called as encryption. Okay, we will talk about this later. But अगर तुम्हारा device encrypted है, तो you must flash it using flash encrypted.
Yeah, I think they will not be heading till there right now. So as of right now, we can remove the encryption part. As of right now, it's just idf.py flash.
Yeah. For me, for my case, मेरा ये device encrypted है, तो I will use that command. But you guys don't use it because it encrypts the device. फिर there are 3 fuse रहते हैं. अगर तुमको encryption निकालना है तो वो fuse burn करने पड़ते हैं. So once you go down to all 3 fuses, done. Device खलास. You can't use it anymore. Your device is done. Okay. For me, yeah, that's all you need to know to do anything. मेरे blogs में मैंने सब अच्छे से लिखा हुआ है. If you find any changes, do let me know.
This out, yeah. Can you send this out on either to me or to anyone or to Surjit also? So to me and Surjit, and we'll go ahead from there. I think we'll close the session at this point because ma'am has to take over the class.
Yeah, right. No problem. Yeah, no problem.
Perfect. I'll see you in college. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're coming or otherwise tomorrow. All right.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Bye. Thank you so much. Dev.
No problem.